All right, good evening. We're going to start the November the 18th, 2025 meeting. We'll have the call or invocation by Mr. Hart, pledge of allegiance by Commissioner Wilson, and the roll call. Please stand.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for blessing the city of Ocoee to exist for over 100 years. And we pray that you be with us as we get ready to conduct the city's business today. Even though we may disagree on certain facts, let us not be disagreeable or disrespect one another, but continue to treat each other as brothers and sisters. We pray that we'll do the best for the best of our city. And we pray a special blessing over all our first responders. Be with them on every call. Keep them safe as they watch over us. Remind their loved ones that you are watching over them. We're so careful to give you the praise, the honor, and the glory you do. In your Son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson?
Here.
Mayor Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Firstner?
Here.
Commissioner Oliver?
Here.
All right, we got the presentation and proclamations. No proclamations, so we have presentation on downtown from the Downtown Master Developer Consultant G3 Development Business Group. Don't be bashful.
Thank you, Mayor. If you recall, G3 was selected in the request for qualifications for a downtown master developer, and they have since that time been working with staff and helping us identify what the downtown needs are, looking at it from a developer's perspective. And so we wanted to bring them forward to show you some of their work in a presentation. With this presentation, we're not seeking direction tonight. We'll take the information they've provided, and as we continue to work with them and bring further planning and action items to this commission at a later date. Thank you.
Mike. Good evening, everybody. My name's Jake Gunther. I've got my father here, Jerry Gunther, and we are with G3 Development. It's not in the presentation, so I'll give a little bit of a background about us. We're commercial real estate developers located in Mount Dora, Florida. We've been open and operational for the past 25 years, where we've partnered with organizations and municipalities around really the Southeast and helping them solve complex real estate problems. That was kind of what brought us here today, the RFQ that you all issued. We've been working hard with your staff for the past 6 or so months to come up with the Master Developer Report. And this is the presentation that highlights some of those main points. And we'll also be here for questions afterwards. So let me dive in. So the main question when we started this process was, why now? Obviously, Ocoee is at a pivotal growth moment, not only Ocoee, but Central Florida and really Florida in general with the growth we've been seeing. So, looking at capitalizing on that and specifically capitalizing on it in a way where we can make downtown a viable, walkable, mixed-use type of environment. And what kind of guided us through our initial process was the 4 studies you all have done, within the last, really 15 years. And so it was promising for us because we didn't have to come in and reinvent the wheel. You guys had done a lot of the work beforehand. You also have invested in downtown, with the different streetscape projects. So all of those are awesome signs for us as a developer to see the municipality, stepping up and taking that initial investment in downtown. We also looked at, those reports and what they wanted, and then, balanced that kind of in today's market reality. After COVID, everything is extremely expensive. And so how do, you make new construction projects work, based on where the current market is in downtown Ocoee? And then, we didn't want this to just be a report. As Mike mentioned, we hope to continue to work with staff and bring you guys some actionable items that can continue to advance this process forward. So as I mentioned, we looked at the 4 different studies y'all have done since 2016, starting with the Downtown Master Plan, the Plant Street Character Area Plan, Silver Star, and then the most recent comprehensive plan. the Envision 2045 that you guys most recently wrapped up. And again, the main unified theme that we saw but throughout all 4 of those reports was wanting to create a mixed-use, connected, walkable, viable downtown. All 4 reports mention, different ways to get that done, and so we wanted to take, the different parts and pieces that we thought made the most sense, and put them in that report and help guide that. So within that, we were able to come up with a development framework in looking at the downtown. And really what the staff kind of asked us to do was imagine you had a blank slate and you were able to come in here. So we did that, and then we grounded it back into those 4 reports and came up with this downtown development framework. This is all extremely fluid. Nothing's obviously set in stone. The whole point is to get this in front of y'all so we can get y'all's feedback. But if you look, everything's mixed use. And why is that? Well, because of how downtown is oriented and the unique opportunities, you don't have to necessarily pigeonhole yourselves into, certain blocks. And so where you look at the darker blue, closer to the 429 and then transitioning back in towards the lake, what we were envisioning there is more of a multifamily mixed-use project, not, big 300-unit garden walk-up apartments, but some sort of multifamily component tied in with some commercial retail to really, activate downtown as you're coming off the 429. If you look at the yellow areas, those areas are areas we focused more on retail and commercial, what we call vertical mixed use. So, your coffee shop on the bottom with a couple apartments or so on top. And obviously, with the streetscape on Oakland, we anticipate some of those projects there. But with the bones and everything on McKee, we thought that was, best oriented. And then tying that in down Blueford and then back into Oakland. When you see the light blue, what we were envisioning there are more professional office type uses. I know post-COVID, people are, aren't big on office, but in Central Florida and in municipalities like Ocoee, we've been very successful with professional office, and we do feel like it's a need, and it's a need in these downtowns. It gets people down here 365, patronizing the coffee shops, the restaurants, and really creates that strong base. You look at the orange areas, those areas, it says high-end single-family residential. We just mean, nicer single-family type homes, if I'm being honest. Maybe transitioning, the mobile home park into some kind of use like that, and then looking at the periphery. And the main goal there is just to kind of tie everything in and make it cohesive. When we talk about the 3 catalyst projects, you can see those centered here around the municipal complex. The first one we want to talk about is activating the recording studio. What we've envisioned there is a fish camp style restaurant, really tying into kind of the old Florida heritage here in Ocoee and creating a place where people can come down, enjoy the lake, have a drink, watch a game, and enjoy downtown. In conjunction with that, some kind of public activation with a band shell or something in Bill Breeze Park. Again, the thought process there is, we really need to train people to come down here. And if we have events and whatnot, that will get them to do that. And then last but not least, we don't think this is an immediate need now, but looking towards the future, some sort of parking structure. We partnered with a dozen municipalities around Central Florida, and we always come back to this. And we can talk about that in greater detail. But again, it's not something that has to happen today, but it would be something that we feel is necessary in downtown in the future. So, speaking of all that, all those fun projects, what does that look like in today's market reality? So, when we undertake a project, obviously we're looking at the finances and trying to make those work. And so, we've got new construction projects going on all over Central Florida, and in the report there are higher level breakdowns of this math. But, we're seeing that to make our numbers work, rents need to be somewhere between $40 and $50 a square foot for new construction. If you look at the current market in downtown Ocoee today, it's not there. Those rents are somewhere between 18 to $20 a square foot. There's only about 10,000 square feet of commercial space in downtown right now, so it's just not there. And so what we were tasked with was not just giving you this problem of, hey, it's not there, how can we overcome that? And doing that, we looked at, municipalities all over the Southeast, all throughout Central Florida, and the different tools and whatnot that they use to overcome those challenges. If you look at downtown Orlando right now, they're offering $100 a square foot in tenant improvement allowance to try to get tenants back into that area. So it's not just smaller municipalities that are dealing with this, it's larger ones too. And the whole goal of this is just to kind of throw some of these tools out there. We still need to work with the staff and kind of figuring out what the best toolbox is. One of those is land contribution. You have tax fee and deferments, tenant improvement assistance, CRA grants and programs, and then there's also some pre-development support that municipalities can get into too. So as I mentioned, when we looked at this, we really looked at catalyzing downtown and what are 3 projects that could kick that off. We looked at the parcels the city owned and how those could be strategically positioned. And then we wanted just to, consider parking as we're getting this developed. And the main reason we're considering parking is because 2 of the cities we've dealt with, the city of Mount Dora we're from and the city of New Smyrna, they grew to a point where they didn't think about parking, and now they're like, what do we do? So all we're saying is we just need to think about it and consider it as we're moving forward. This is a fish camp style restaurant that they just developed in the Villages called Harry and the Natives. Again, there's a few different styles, but this is kind of what we were envisioning down on the lake. This is another development over in the Villages called Sawgrass Market. It's one of their more modern squares. This is a good inspiration. We were thinking of what maybe could happen down in Bilbreeze Park. And then there's the parking garage we just completed for the city of Wildwood. That was a smaller garage, around 140 spaces, and it's been a big asset to their new fledgling downtown that they're creating. So next steps, I know we're not really here to set any action items or next steps, but in that report, we talk about how this is a 10-year plus plan. We're not going to be the developers that are involved in this. And, the short-term wins that we can put into place immediately to gain some momentum, the middle-term tasks that are going to keep that momentum going, and then the long-term build-out, which gets downtown Ocoee to where everybody wants to be. And so potential next steps, again, we can talk about this more with staff, but, formalizing some kind of development agreement on those catalyst projects, talking about staff, launching some incentives, and what that might look like. I know there are some developers waiting kind of in the wings and on some downtown parcels. Advancing infrastructure. I know, you all have talked about this a lot, but, getting a connection, over to Winter Garden and the trail, we do think is extremely important. I know we can't connect directly to it, but we can get some jumpers in there potentially and again, draw some energy down there. And then public messaging, just to kind of roll this all out, to let everybody know what we're doing and see if they want to be a part of it. So in closing, do y'all have any questions for us?
Commissioners,
I just have some comments.
Oh.
I don't know, I think,
start down here with you.
okay.
I just had like one comment, going back to that, to the rendering where you had the band shell there. band shell, the one with, we had the area?
Yes,
view?
sir. Yes, sir.
Right.
This one? Oh, you're
No.
talking about
Yeah.
that area?
That one, yeah, that one right there.
Yes, sir.
Just looking at that, one of the things I've heard in the past is having a band shell would be really great for the city, especially around Bilbrey's Park. But I had envisioned it being more on the water
Okay.
and using the space that you have it on there with the grassy area. Use it as, where you can still sit down and also be able to enjoy, music or whatever from the band shell. But that would kind of eliminate part of the street, the road there, but putting it out a little bit on the water would
Yes,
maybe
sir.
enhance it and allow for more seating.
Yes, sir. I know Ginger
Or
had.
leisurely seating, I guess.
Yes, sir. I know Ginger had some pretty cool designs for a potential band shell and whatnot. But yes, sir, we'd be very open to all that feedback.
That's all I got.
Rich?
The only comment I have is, and it's personal, it's a personal choice, is rather than a fish camp type restaurant, I'd like to see that property be developed into a more upscale restaurant.
Yes, sir. And
Doesn't have to be the greatest and everything, but, along the lines of like a Seasons 52, that style restaurant.
Yes, sir. Yeah, fish camp's probably not it's more of the feel. It'll be a high-end operator, for sure.
That's it.
Commissioner Wilson?
The mayor may remember this, probably 25 years ago, there was a master plan that had a band shell.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
Yep.
And so I feel we're maybe closer at this point, after 25 years, that folks were more accepting of something of that nature. I'm on a board that we met in Wildwood, and I was very delighted to see the garage they had put as kind of proactive to as they built up the community downtown, to see that garage went in.
Yes, ma'am.
Because parking is very important, as we all know.
Yes, ma'am.
So again, some of these things I see, I hope they're done in my lifetime.
Yes, ma'am. We'll get them done.
And I guess this is all, it's a, should I say, a forward steps we're taking? Because after looking at 25 years ago, seeing that I thought was, wow, we're going to have this, and we're not. And I think we're more in a position now to move forward with that. So I'm delighted. I'm always felt that the recording studio, when we got it, should be some kind of a restaurant. One of our crown jewels is our lake.
Mm-hmm.
And we should capitalize on that.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Kennedy?
Thank you. I have a few comments and questions for you.
Okay.
The first one, I agree with Commissioner Firstner. I think you're talking about like a high-end lakeside boardwalk restaurant.
Yes, sir.
And I agree with his opinion. I disagree a little bit on the band shell. And I want your opinion, since you've done this several times. What I see is music where you have single-family homes and businesses. One of the things that we've done to try to support the businesses on McKee, and I assume we will in Oakland when that gets finished, is put music down there like on Friday night, Saturday night.
Yes, sir.
And so I'm wondering if that's too far. Can you talk about the connection and because that's the leverage, is to bring people down and to go to the businesses and let them sit outside. One of the problems we have right now is like if a business wants music, they have to do it themselves. And so one of the things I think the city should be doing is helping to leverage that. And so 20 businesses can all have outside seating and enjoy the music and do so. How would you fix that or leverage that?
Yeah, so the goal with the band show would definitely to be complementary versus taking away from, what's going on. With what we've seen is this band shell is really like a light, and you're attracting all the moths in, for lack of a better term. But, and it's not just activated on a Friday night or a Saturday night. What the goal would be is like within, to create a merchants association or something like that, that again is doing active programming throughout the week and whatnot. So again, we're getting people down here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So when the businesses have a live band on Friday or Saturday night, they're not maybe going to the band show, but they're used to going downtown, and so they'll go patronize those businesses. We've seen in, like other cities where you can just get segmented, and people will go to the highway commercial versus go downtown for some reason, or vice versa. And the band shell just creates an opportunity for more people to come down here more often.
If I might, it's a matter of scale also with regard to a band shell. A lot of places that come to mind, like Carrollton, Georgia, they have a pretty large band shell at one of their regional parks that they use to attract larger events. But they also have some small ones off their downtown where little quads or blocks of businesses can go in together and have a band playing that serves the local area. Gainesville, Florida, I think, has one as well. So that's not to say that with our new land development code, which we are intending to require more shared public spaces within the downtown between businesses, things like that, we could have a small band shell over there easily and still have a bigger one in the park to attract bigger events. So I think it
I
can
like
both
that.
be accomplished.
And
Yeah,
scales
they're
are-
not mutually
that way.
exclusive.
Yeah,
Right.
and
You
scale-
can have you can have music in the downtown.
Yes, sir. And scale's important. It's not going to be, the Apopka Amphitheater, so.
My other question, you're talking about building more capacity and raising prices. That's difficult. Usually as you add capacity, the prices go down. So, and you're talking about a long-term, maybe 10, 15-year long-term plan. What can we do this year, next year? What do you recommend financially, economically, especially with the revenue challenges we may have? What should we be doing policy-wise today to facilitate this in the future?
I guess I'll answer that one. I'm Jerry Gunther.
Yeah.
And, it's a common problem we have with new construction. And so when we come into a city, we say, the cost to operate a restaurant in Winter Garden, other than the land cost, or here, it's the same cost to build a building. And so then it's how do you make the rent up? Other cities have had some subsidies, whether it's property tax, impact fees, but we really look at it as, we're not the guys who put these plans together. Typically, we're the guys who build the buildings, and we're confident that we can work out some kind of deal that works with the city and the tenants that we bring to cities like this to make it work. Restaurants are very expensive to build versus retail. In Winter Garden, projects there are somewhere between $60 and $80 a square foot. We're not going to get that. And so here, the $40 a foot or $45 a foot, I think we can get somebody in here. We may need some property tax or some impact fees, subsidies short term, but our goal is to get as close to market rate as we can. And obviously the land cost has a big factor in that. And so, what we're hoping to do is work out a deal. It'll be totally open book where the land costs this, construction costs this, this is the return the bank expects us to make on this investment. And so this is what the number is. But we've been able to do new construction in smaller markets before. Okay. And when I say smaller, I mean less affluent than Winter Garden. Winter Garden has done a great job the last 25 years of really making that town turn. So it won't be a simple equation, but it'll be an open book equation where I think we can get it done with a good operator. And again, we'll put the money in, we'll build the building, and it'll be our responsibility to get a tenant and collect that rent to get our return.
What is your timeline for that in this 0 to 5, 5 to 10?
We're ready to get started. We've been ready to get started for.
Well, I guess what I'm asking specifically is, can you tell me in your financial planning when rents in Ocoee downtown will be $40 a square foot? You
Well, I
have
think
that modeled out?
I think with you won't get new construction. It'll have to be $40 a foot with new construction. And so if we can get this project done in a year and a half, 2 years, then that's when it'll start. Okay. And what we're looking is for these catalyst projects, and it's like the band shell. That's one way we can bring people here at certain times. And so we may say, hey, let's have an event from 3 to 5 on Saturday. Bring a bunch of people to downtown, and then after that, they'll go get dinner at the other places, and there may be music from 7 to 9 at the other places. But the band shell will act as a place where we can manage people to come downtown during the hours we want.
Thank you. That's it.
One of the things I think we need to all have is foresight of seeing what we can do and not do. but I like what your plans are. If you talk about down by the lake, we drew that years ago, they drew up that band shelter going out into the lake, which I really don't like that, because then you gotta take more space to cut in to get the things loaded to the back. Most of that band shells work off the back, not the front. But we definitely need a band shell, but when you had that other part of there, we're up on the hill, where you build condos, and that's another thing, the condos, just like Winter Garden did beside their restaurants they put in, they're sold for, starting at $750,000 to $800,000, buy that. Then you cross the street, they're building another one, and they're doing the same thing. So that's what brings the price of the downtown commercial up. That'll help bring that up. But the other thing is like she said, 25 years ago, but it just kind of fell by the wayside. You gotta have the foresight to keep moving forward. If you're gonna do it, now you gotta do it. And you find somebody like you or somebody that can come in and lead us to that. That area over here would be a perfect place to put some in there, those condos. You build a parking garage, then you got that middle part. If you ever go to Gainesville, there's two things in Gainesville that you need to see. The one where Steve Spurrier's Restaurants, had any of you ever been up there, you've seen it, where that play thing is in the middle between the restaurants and shops. And they have a play area, they have everything. I know you've seen it because y'all are up there. And then on the other one is if you go down to Harry's downtown, the old part of Harry's, they have that park with that grass sitting with the walls around it, all around it. And like every Friday or Saturday night, they have bands playing there. And they built that stage out there, the band shell, with the bathrooms on it and with backward coming into the back to put everything. So I think that's where we start getting things different. And the name makes it sound like we're just gonna put an old cheap restaurant in, but that's not what we're talking about.
No.
You go to New Smyrna Beach, go to the yacht restaurant to eat. The yacht restaurant, you go to New Smyrna Beach, inside's a beautiful restaurant, you go out the back doors and it's what we're talking about, it's an open area place on the water where you go out and eat. So that entails all that stuff. So I'm all looking forward to something, if I can be around that long.
And that's our point too. I mean, when you look, and I know parking garages aren't popular, but what they do is they save green space.
Yeah.
And so we're not proponents of, hey, let's build a building on every square foot down there. You've done a great job of preserving your lakefront. And I think the green space in the lakefront is very important to leave that way because it's comfortable for people and they want to come down and see it. We just need something to do when they come down.
Well, if you go down there on the afternoon, you'll see people out there sitting on the benches looking out over the lake and things like that. But you also, if you put that bench out on that lake, they're gonna go down there and be on it. You know, we've had problems with all that. I think you put someplace more up that's uncovered. But I think it's a great idea, and I think you guys have come up with it. I know I've looked at some of your stuff. You do great jobs, and you've offered to help do some of that stuff too. So you bring in the people, the proprietor to come into that, so it makes it better for us.
And we work with other developers too. And that's the thing, we won't develop all downtown Ocoee, but we will bring people in.
Yeah.
You know, the people who are doing stuff in Winter Garden, I mean, we've done projects with them. There's people all over Central Florida, we've done projects, and they specialize in other things, and we'll bring them down when you're ready to do condos and those mixed use. But this will be what gets things started, and once the money starts flowing in this area, I really think with the growth we've seen in Central Florida, it'll come from a lot of different sources.
All right, nobody else got any more comments? I think we need to set up a workshop type thing, Craig. We can all sit down and go over this with them, come up with finalize something similar, and get started on it.
That's the plan. The next step would be to fine tune
All
a
right.
presentation with actual recommendations and workshop it with the public and the commission and start moving.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
We got consent for that. All right?
And
Thanks.
just ending, it's been a pleasure working with y'all's staff. I just want to say that. So thank y'all.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. No staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few items. First item, I would like to pull item number 10 from consideration on the agenda. It's the addendum to the school resource officer agreement. After further legal review, we do not believe that is necessary and would not bring it back until such time as we did. So we'd like to formally pull that. The second thing is that, as you can see, Christmas lights are being installed. We have a nightly inspection that started last night. We'd like to commend Duke Energy, specifically Lisa Curran, who's been working very closely with us and done a great job of installing approximately 94 new receptacles, and they will be rapidly replacing anything that, after 2 inspections in the last month, still aren't wanting to work. They're working with us, and the goal is to have all that wrapped up by the end of the week. So another item I have is just wanted to apprise the commission and the public that, you know, Orlando Health's been an outstanding community partner, and they support a lot of things. They've actually launched a brand-new wellness initiative, included free of charge for our employees.
Who's that?
Orlando Health. And, you know, the goal is to provide city employees with additional tools and knowledge to enhance their health and wellness. And each month, there's a different activity for our staff to complete. So I want to commend Orlando Health for being a great community partner on that. And lastly, this is kind of an interesting little thing. Starting tomorrow, we are going to be working with a company called Red Zone Robotics to conduct a 10% assessment of the city's gravity sewer collection system, or the sewer system itself, including gravity, for approximately the next 45 days. And our utility department is working with community relations to make sure that the word gets out on various forms of digital media, and they've already notified residents. But I'm going to read the areas they're going to be working. It's minimally invasive. A robot's inserted into the collection system through a manhole, and then it's autonomously controlled remotely. So it's a minimally invasive traffic thing. But they're going to be in the Ohio Bay area, Ocoee Landings, Reflections, the Reserve, Richfield, Spring Lake Reserve, Waterside, Wellington Place, Weston Park, and Willows on the Lake. And if you see, you know, a weird little robot popping out of a manhole with a truck next to it, that's what it's going to be. But it should not disrupt any normal traffic flow. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, public comments. I have one here from Joseph McMullen.
Which mic, Mayor? This one here? Hey. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to be before you. So, Mayor, thank you so much. I didn't think you was going to call me up so soon. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Joseph McMullen. I live at 201 Lago Vista Drive in Oakland, and I run a nonprofit by the name of Ocoee Music Foundation. And every year, for the last 3 years going into next year, we do a jazz festival here in the town of Oakland, here in the city of Ocoee, which is free to the community, and we want to say thank you for your support. And even though we're just talking about a jazz festival, let me build up to who we are, where we are, how we got here. Ocoee Music Foundation, our mission is building futures to music, art, and education for deserving youth. And we do it in several ways. We have a few pillars of how we do it. We do master classes where we bring in university professors down to the Central Florida area to conduct master classes at the schools. Just 8 days ago, we had a University of Florida professor come down from Florida, and he did a master class at Evans High School and Carver Middle to help these kids continue to grow in this thing called music that we love. We do a big jazz clinic every January, and that's how the relationship started. About 15 years ago, we started doing a jazz clinic at Ocoee High School. And Mayor Vandergriff at the time would come to the jazz clinic, and because at the end of the night, we would have a jazz concert. And so Mayor Vandergriff, Commissioner Wilson at the time, along with Commissioner Johnson at the time, would come to those concerts and those clinics and see the impact of what we were doing here in the city of Ocoee. And it was one of those things that, you know, we would have professionals come in, we would have university bands come in, And we do a whole day jazz clinic and pour into these students' lives. Again, this all started right here in the city of Ocoee, and Vandergrift, along with Johnson and Ms. Wilson, will come out and support. Fast forward about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, when we had the Mayor Johnson, he asked that we bring the concert component to the town, to the city. Now, right when we were talking about making that move, now, of course, we were having those concerts at the school, and it was some great performers would come, we would have some great times, but it's hard to get people to come to a high school for a jazz concert. So Mayor Johnson at the time said, hey, why don't you bring this to the city, which we did, but of course, COVID came on board, so we had to pause for a little bit. Then, when we got out of COVID, we brought that concert here. So that's where we are right now. We've been producing this concert here in this city for the last 3 years and hopefully going into the new year. And we just want to say thank you for allowing us to do those programs, because without you, we won't be able to touch these kids' lives. And the reason I want to talk about who we are and what we do is because it's not just about a concert. It's not about a clinic. It's about how you are coming alongside HAPCO and allowing us to pour into kids' lives. I would tell you, we work with different entities and different programs around the area, and the commission has been the only entity here in this area that has come alongside HAPCO in a way that you're touching us, helping us doing the clinics, and you're also helping us with the concerts, giving these kids the opportunity to perform and make a difference in their lives. You hire some of our students to come and perform at your Christmas parties and at your veterans parties and all the special events. Again, you're doing more than just a concert. So we just want to say thank you for allowing us to be a part of your city, producing some type of nice jazz concert, which is free to the public and is allowing the citizens to experience something that is in addition to what you're offering to the audience. So I just want to say thank you for allowing us. And if I can just give you one story that happened to me today, and it talks to how this city and you as an entity has come alongside us. I was at an event earlier this morning, and a young man a father walked up to me and said, hey, I know you. And he said, yes, my daughter was a member of the band at Ocoee High School, and she graduated in 2019, and he remembers all the programs that we did at the school and we're continuing to do at the school. And he just thanked me for for being a part of of what we're doing in the area. So I just want to say thank you for allowing us to pour into these kids' lives, because as you know, music and art is just a vehicle, but really the outcome is really we're trying to change lives, and you're really being a big partner with us to allow us to continue to do our concerts, helping us, to be a part of your community. I just want to say thank you for allowing us to be here. And then, if I can just land this plane real quick, as I mentioned, you are touching every aspect of HAPCO. You're touching our educational component. You're touching our kids when they are able to perform and interact with professionals. And soon, we're working with HAPCO, and I have a good friend of mine in the audience, Mark, if he can stand up. We're working on a potential place where we can have these kids perform on a regular basis. So I just want to say thank you for allowing me to come and share with you who we are, what we're doing. But I really want to say thank you for being a great partner and allowing us to continue to be a part of your city and your expression of music, art, and education in our community. Thank you so much.
Any comments, commissioners?
It's a wonderful program.
Well, yeah,
I've been around with Joseph for many years, and it's enlightening that he has brought the arts and reinforced the arts in our high school and with our kids, because it's very important. It's kind of a class that are stopping arts. They're not putting the support behind them. So I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
What's your next program?
So our next program is at Ocoee High School. The jazz clinic that I mentioned that we do every year is on January 24th at Ocoee High School. So that program is going to be on January 24th at Ocoee. And then also, we're going to have the jazz concert here in the city on March 20th, with your continued blessing.
I have a question, Mayor.
Go ahead.
I know several times when we've supported the concert, we've done different things, contingency funding and stuff like that. Are we at a point where we've put this permanently in the budget? Are we all squared away on this, or?
Have we credited the Lakeshore Center use? Is that something that we've always?
Traditionally, the city commission waives the fees, and, provides staff assistance to making the event, a success. We plan for that to continue to occur. We'll need you at a certain point, if, Mr. McMullen comes back and makes formal request. We do a special event permit. We process a lot of those items. That traditionally has been the time where he's requested assistance. We don't specifically budget for that, and it's not because of the jazz event. It's because it's an outside event that, while we're very much in support of it, and I actually think it's a wonderful program for youth, we, by and large, don't do that for private events because, private events come and go. Now, I would be happy to budget for that if so directed by the city commission as a permanent fixture in the city's budget. But, because you don't want to lump this event into traditional outside organization-run events, because it's much more than that. We have money adequately in the budget that we could use to support him, which you all know that you approve a contingency fund balance for yourselves every year that we can use to support this event. So that's how I had planned for us to handle that, and you guys can decide how much you want to take from that, because you never come close to spending all of that money. So there's plenty of money there, and at the appropriate time, you can decide how much you would like to help subsidize the event.
Is that something we can do when we're closer to the event of March?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying when we get closer to the event of March.
Well,
I mean,
Yeah.
problem is the planning of it before then takes time
Yeah.
to come up with what you're gonna do and not do. You can't wait till March.
That's my question. Are you prepared for an ask tonight, or would you have to come back with your numbers and whatever you need to provide for us to?
So
make a
we're
decision?
prepared for an ask. Normally, I really just, go with your discretion, because, I understand, government works.
What did we give last year?
We do 10.
10.
I just worry with everything that's happening that we're funding this out of contingency, and maybe someday we won't have much contingency. And I'd like to, I guess for lack of a better word, make your home permanent.
I think that's the best time to do that is when we do the budget mid-year. We can address that issue. That way we net it in the budget process. I think this time the contingency will work. We have $120,000 in the contingency. I have paper. So, anybody want to make a motion?
But he said we're doing it mid,
What?
I thought I was
Come back, or do you want us to do it?
mid,
now?
or I'm
What do you want
getting a
us
little
to do?
confused here.
Mr. City Attorney, can they appropriate? Typically, we have a more formal ask than this, but to prepare, the committee, we typically give about $10,000,
That's what
so
we did last year.
you guys can do that again. And then we can backfill if necessary to contingency with the mid-year budget amendment.
Well, you can check that at mid-year, then you'll know.
Right.
Fair enough.
So,
So the motion would be to take it out of the discretionary funds.
Contingency fund
The
balance.
contingency funds. Misspoke.
I'm
That
confused
just-
where we are.
you just
But
did
an
the
actual
motion.
budget amendment would require, 2 readings and all that, but.
No, what I was saying, just to be clear, we can take it out of contingency tonight, and we'll be evaluating the city's budget performance, and we typically do a mid-year amendment if we need to add money to anything. So if we have unforeseen expenses that warrant use of more of the contingency line item, then we can add more in, as the mayor was saying, at mid-year if we need to. So that's separate and apart. They can go ahead and do this tonight, and then if we need to add more, we can later.
Makes sense to me.
Thank you.
Make a motion.
I'd like to do that. I'd like to create some certainty and know that we're going to have this. And so I'll make a motion to pull 10,000 from contingency to designate it for the program and the concert. And I don't know if we can go ahead and authorize staff to waive the fees or whatever to assist as traditionally they do with this program and the concert.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Motion made by Commissioner Kennedy, seconded by Commissioner Oliver. Any more comments? No more comments. I would make a suggestion on something. I'll get with you about it.
Okay. I do want to say
About
thank you.
changing, huh?
I want to say thank you
Yeah.
for your support. And I did not mention the headliners are the professors at the University of Florida, the jazz program at the University of Florida, the professors. That is the entertainment that we have booked to come down. So you Gators will have University of Florida jazz professors coming down performing for your city. And it's a free concert. Please understand, it's a free concert.
What about if you find one more act? If we, if you find one more act, I think that would be a good thing to add to that, is somebody that plays jazz music, saxophone or piano, whatever, and have somebody else also.
Well, we definitely want to have
individual, like you did one time, the guy from Miami or somewhere.
Yeah, that's.
I know, but I'm.
Najee.
Yeah.
There's people around this area
Yeah,
that do that.
well, that's a different level of ask
I
now.
know,
If you want us
there's people around this area.
yeah, we can't facilitate that. That's a different level of ask.
There's people around this area that do that.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's your function, but
No.
you need.
No, again, as I mentioned earlier, this entity has been the biggest supporter of everything that we do. And so the reason I built that story is I don't want people to think that this is just a jazz concert or just a one-time program. Whether it's the kids that you impacted, the clinics, everything that you're doing, has really changed lives. And you're a part of that process. I want to say thank you. Now, if you want us to expand it, again, this is a free concert. I just want to say thank you. And also, we bring in Ocoee High School, and they perform, and we always make a major donation to their program for their kids, for their programs, and for the things. Again, everything is a touching our kids.
We'll get everybody.
Thank you so much.
All
I
right.
appreciate y'all.
Thank you. All right, that was the only one on public comments. The other was just later on item 13. We need a consent agenda. We need a motion with item 10 pulled.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made for the consent agenda by Commissioner Wilson. Item 10 is pulled. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Persner. No more comments? Let's vote. All right, we'll go to item 13. Second reading of ordinance amending section 124-8 through section 124-11 of the Code of Ordinances for smoking and vaping prohibited in portions of recreational property. Parks and Leisure Services, Deputy Director Gaines.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Doug Gaines, Deputy Director of Parks and Leisure Services. Just real quick, we were approached by the Tobacco-Free Partnership of Orange County asking that we amend Chapter 124 of the Ocoee Code of Ordinances to address vape and vaping. So staff has updated the definition of vape and vaping and added an exception for smoking of unfiltered cigars, which are exempt per Florida statute. The Tobacco-Free Partnership stated that any updated signage can be paid for by them, which would be nice. So staff recommends the Honorable Mayor and Commissioners approve the amendments to Chapter 124.
What did you change? Which item? Can you tell everybody what it is?
It's 124, and it's section 124-8 through 124-11. talks about smoking prohibited in portions of recreational property. So we updated the definition. You'll see where it's in red.
You need to post it where people can get it, will understand.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so you got the ordinance?
I do. An ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, amending Article 2 of Chapter 124 of the Ocoee Code of Ordinances to establish Section 124-8 through Section 124-11, smoking and vaping prohibited in portions of recreational property, providing for exceptions and enforcement, and providing for definitions, codification, inconsistency, severability, and an effective date.
All right, we have one public comment here, Victoria Laney. Set the clock.
Good evening. I would like to thank Steve Schaefer from Tobacco Free Florida for responding to me when I reached out to him about my concerns about vaping in public events. And I appreciate Doug Gaines and Don Abdo for meeting with us. And Stephen Schaefer was so well prepared. He had copies of model ordinances from other municipalities. He was familiar with Ocoee's ordinance and made suggestions on how to change it. I appreciate the commissioners and our city attorney and the mayor for responding to that as you have. I appreciate the police for visiting smoke shops in Ocoee before the recent music festival to confiscate and remove illegal products there that might have caused harm during the music festival. I'm not sure if that's what motivated them, but to me it came just in time, because one of the problems with vaping is that you don't know what you're breathing. There could be anything there. And so I really appreciate the addition of vaping as a prohibited activity in this amended ordinance, along with smoking. About marijuana, I remember my youth when tobacco was considered to be a very healthy thing, kind of like you hear marijuana spoken of today. Actors posed as doctors on television and spoke of the health benefits of tobacco. The television commercials featured dancing, cigarettes, and other entertainment to promote the use of tobacco. I appreciate my mother, and I'm remembering her tonight, because she would send us to the television to turn down the volume, and then she would have us sing our own song to counteract the commercial. Cigarettes, cigarettes, we don't smoke those cigarettes. They will get you in the neck, make you sick as heck. Stay away from cigarettes, that's the thing to do. Never know, never know, never know. Don't smoke cigarettes or vape. I updated it, which she would want me to do. So thank you again for this, and we'll see how it goes, and appreciate it. And here's all to healthier Ocoee, a great way to celebrate our centennial. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Number 14.
We have
15.
We need a vote. We have to vote.
I did 13, you got to vote. Public hearing, anybody in the public have any comments?
Mayor, before we, I have a question about 13. In the change we made to the ordinance, and it states that it prohibits in portions of the recreational properties. So the word portion kind of is throwing me off. I'm a little confused here, because are you saying that it's okay to smoke in some portions and other portions? But just simply having the word portion in there as opposed to all confuses me a little bit. So can I get some clarification on that?
It allows you to designate.
In section B.
Yeah.
Section DB.
Yeah, really, it's for city parks and recreational areas.
But it's portions of recreational property. We're talking about property as a whole.
Well, it says, except as otherwise provided in this subsection, smoking is prohibited on any portion of the following properties owned by the city, then it lists, Jim Beach Recreation Center, Ocoee Family Aquatic Center, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
So,
And it also allows you to designate areas in the future, which is entirely a commission decision.
So in other words, the recreation areas are all smoke-free at this point. They'll be all smoke-free.
The ones listed in section B here on page 3,
Page 3.
tell us which ones, and that we can go ahead in the future, as we have more parks or more facilities. Am I correct?
Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
And then it says smoking is prohibited within 30 feet of any occupied playground located on recreational property.
It's just not painting us in a corner. That's all it's doing.
I'm just typical, I'm partial to the all, as
Yeah.
opposed to playing with portions. That's all, that's just me.
I
Could
did.
have a designated vapor area somewhere.
Anybody in the audience have any comments on the item 13, second reading of ordinance amending section about the vaping prohibited and the smoking? Don't forget to fill the form out.
Noreen Dworkin, Editor-in-Chief of Vox Populi, wintergardenvox.com. Just wanted to be clear, does this mean no smoking anywhere in any park in Ocoee?
What is this?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Well, if you cannot, okay, not a big fan of smoking, but come on. If you cannot smoke anywhere inside, and now you cannot smoke outside, really, isn't this a little bit of the nanny state here? And honestly, I really don't want to be the one waving the banner for smoking, but if you cannot smoke any place outside, I think that's a little bit ridiculous. Please designate a place outside for people to light up a cigarette. It's outside.
You can smoke outside and not in a city park.
Yes, if I could further read from the this is the existing ordinance and not what's being changed. The Parks and Recreation Director shall designate one or more areas within the foregoing properties as smoking areas where smoking will be permitted. So there is a carve-out.
I think you should have a carve-out. You're going to end up with a lawsuit somewhere, in my humble opinion, having not gone to law school. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I need, nobody else have any comments? All right, I'm gonna close it, go to number 4, we need a vote, I need a
I'll
motion.
make a motion. I'll make the motion on number 13 to approve.
Commissioner Wilson makes the motion for item number 13, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Kennedy. No more comments, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll go to 14. Second reading of ordinance for fiscal year 2025, year-end budget amendment. Assistant Finance Director.
Good evening, Mayor and
It's okay. Let me preempt, okay? Mayor, commissioners, members of the public, this is the second reading of the year-end closeout budget amendment, which you've been given a staff report at first reading. This is a customary action at year-end financial closeout. It's no impact to the budget, and we actually have good news in the sense that when we ask you to approve truing up the solid waste fund, we presented a much higher number than the year-end actual turned out to be. So this information has been posted online, it's been advertised in accordance with Florida statutes, and we recommend that the commission approve it, and we'll entertain any further questions. It is a public hearing item, and we're happy to address any questions that anybody might have.
Read the ordinance.
An ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Orange County, Florida, relating to the city budget, amending the city budget adopted by Ordinance 2024-28 for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2024, and ending September 30th, 2025, by providing for increase of appropriations, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
I have no coupons or forms for anybody in the audience, but if anybody in the audience open the public hearing, anybody have any comments on item 14? All right, no comments. I'll bring it back to the dais. Anybody have comments on item 14? If not, I need
I'll make a motion
Motion.
to approve the year-end budget amendment.
number 14, Commissioner Kennedy, the year-end budget amendment. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Ferstner. No more comments. Let's vote. All right, we go down to the public hearings. Number 15, public hearing for 125 South Circle Key Drive, Moody variance request, project number VR 2502. Planner, Bell's there. Pull that up.
Oh,
Pull the mic up a
Is this
little bit
working?
towards you.
okay, great. Good evening, everyone. Tonight I'll be presenting on the Moody variance for their property located at 125 South Circle Key Drive and the request to reduce the minimum rear setback. For issues is whether the Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners should approve the proposed variance to Table 5-2 to reduce the minimum rear setback from 20 feet to 7 for the purpose of installing a mobile home. For some background on the property, it is located north of West Silver Star Road and east of West Circle Key Drive. In total, the lot is 3,560 square feet large, and it is considered a substandard lot of record as it does not meet the minimum 7,000 square foot lot area for the RT1 zoning district. Here we have an aerial photography of the lot. This is the surrounding future land use map. And this is the surrounding zoning map. Per section 4-9A of the Land Development Code, a variance must exhibit meeting 4 different criteria. The first is that special circumstances and conditions exist on the lot that are peculiar and not applicable to other lots. That the literal interpretation of the regulations would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties. That the conditions and circumstances are not the result of the actions of the applicant. And that the granting of the variance would not confer any special privileges onto the applicant. So here we have a snippet of the property indicating its yards and its setbacks with the buildable area with the current setbacks shown in gray. And just to reiterate, these are the minimum zoning requirements for the zoning district with the 20 feet in the front, 20 feet in the back, 15-foot side street, and then the 7.5 interior side, which wouldn't be applicable. So based on the information, staff has found that there are special circumstances and conditions that exist for the lot. With having 3 frontages, it creates additional restrictions due to the setbacks. That the literal interpretation of the code will result in a buildable area width of 10 feet, which is not adequate to support any type of dwelling. That this is not the actions of the applicant, as the lot has always retained its original configuration since being platted, and has its 3 frontages, making the setbacks difficult to meet. And that no conference of any special privileges would happen, as the granting of the variance would allow the homeowner to have a mobile home similar to all the other mobile homes within the subdivision. During their October 14th meeting, the PZC heard the item and after some discussion made a unanimous vote to make a recommendation of approval for the requested variance to reduce the minimum setback from 20 feet to 7 for the purpose of installing the mobile home, And similarly, staff is making the same recommendation to the Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners to approve the requested variance to Table 5-2 to reduce the setback from 20 to 7 feet for the rear setback for the purpose of installing a mobile home at 125 South Circle Key Drive. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
All right, commissioners.
I have one question.
Yes.
I watched the P and Z meeting and I read the packet. I'm not sure where I saw it. But there's already a mirror of this lot. There's already a similar lot
Yes.
that has, and I didn't find, did they receive a variance or did they build without a variance? What's the status of that?
So that lot, I can't remember the exact address, but it is within the subdivision. Similar lot configuration. It was approved in error because the orientation of the lot was, the mobile home wasn't considered. It was overlooked regarding the placement of the entryway, and so that was approved unfortunately by error. In any instance where the mobile home is replaced for that lot, they would be subject to 5-2 for the nonconformities, in which they may be able to replace it, or depending on the time frame, they would essentially time out of that nonconformity, and it would have to be in compliance like this
Okay.
lot, excuse me.
That's why I didn't find it. Thank
Yeah.
you. That's it.
Anybody else have any comments?
Is this a new mobile home they're installing, or is it a used mobile home?
I believe it is a used mobile home.
Okay.
All right, anybody else? We're gonna open it, public hearing. Anybody in public hearing want to say anything? Does the owners want to say anything? You're here. You have 5 minutes.
Hi. Oh, sorry. Okay. Hi, my name's Gia Lucas. I'm Faye Moody's daughter, representing my mom. And it is a used mobile home that was already approved by the city. And what had happened was the person installing the mobile home, when they got the approval, they thought it meant that it was approved to be on that lot as is. So we did not realize that it was out of variance, and that's why we had to apply for the variance.
All right. Anybody have any questions of the young lady? All right, go ahead.
I just have a question, I'm sorry, I'm just not familiar with, the installation of a mobile home. Is this on a concrete slab? You put a concrete slab down and then you tie the mobile home down to the slab? How does that work?
No, it's brought in and put together. It's on land. Some lots do have concrete slabs that were prior to. There was an existing mobile home that was demolished off the lot years ago, and this lot has been sitting empty for some time. And we were just able to have the gentleman that's actually buying the lot from my mom bringing in that mobile home. So, but it's not going on an actual concrete slab.
Okay.
Yep.
And Mayor, Assistant City Manager Rumor, just want to clarify with the mobile home inspection, there is an inspection process. The code allows for mobile homes from the year 1975 or newer. And before they're brought into the city, they have to be inspected. So our inspectors drive out to wherever the mobile home is, they pay mileage, and we inspect the mobile home to make sure it is safe and compliant. That is the inspection that was done. It was not a zoning approval. It was just this mobile home is sufficient to be brought into the city of Ocoee. So.
Yep.
All righty. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna close the public hearing. And commissioners, I need a motion for or against, either one.
I'll make a motion to approve the Moody variance request VR 2502.
May I ask that include a specific finding that the criteria for variance are met?
Yes, and I appreciated very much you delineating the 4 criteria.
All right. Commissioner Kennedy made the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Who seconded it?
Me, second.
Commissioner Firstner made the second. Any more comments? More comments, let's vote.
Good job.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right. Number 16, public hearing for Ocoee Village Center, new grocery and fuel station, large-scale preliminary site plan, project number LS 2024-011, Deputy Director, Services Director, Whitfield. There she is.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, everybody. This item is the Ocoee Village Center new grocery and fuel station preliminary large-scale site plan. The project is going to be located on 4 parcels with some recently vacated rights-of-ways along North Lakewood and Clarkona Ocoee Road. Just a little bit of background, it's in the northwest corner of the intersection of North Lakewood and Clarkona Ocoee, the realignment of North Lakewood. As I mentioned, 4 parcels totaling 6.9 acres with some vacant rights-of-ways. The land is currently vacant. There are no unique features particular to these properties, and the rights-of-way were vacated a few months back. This is an aerial of the property. This is dated. We only get what the property appraiser gives us. The surrounding future land use map, the surrounding zoning is essentially part of the Ocoee Village Center PUD, and this is the site plan. So it is only at a preliminary stage. Final comes back on consent once they've addressed all outstanding staff comments. It does meet the plan, the land use plan for the northwest parcel in terms of the building square footage, the parking ratios, and the uses themselves. I don't have landscaping plans here, but a conversation was raised at the PCC regarding how the loading zones will be shielded from the traveling public, and it is going to be here. Loading is on the south side of the property, of the project, and because as you drive up and easterly on Lakewood, you're going to be seeing the back side of the building. We did ask them, and they agreed to provide additional vegetation to help screen that, and there will be a wall to shield the actual loading zone, which is an elevated platform. These are some building elevations. So one by one, this is looking at it from the intersection, looking at it from Lakewood, right across from Clarkona Ocoee Road. The westerly front side of the building. This is where the loading zone would be. Back here, this is the other way. This is the pickup area for merchandise pickup. This is the gas station and the canopy, a close-up of the actual, I guess, convenience mart itself. The RC considered this item at their October 7th meeting. We discussed the requirements for the final site plan, and they made a unanimous recommendation for approval of the preliminary site plan with no conditions. PCC also made a unanimous decision to recommend approval of the preliminary at their October hearing. After discussing the loading zone, landscaping, and pedestrian access, I will point out that the pedestrian access is going to be along Lakewood because there's a trail system there and sidewalk systems. So the backside where the realignment is going to be is more for freight traffic. And with that, staff is recommending that the commission approve the preliminary large-scale site plan for the Ocoee Village Center new grocery and fuel station on, I don't want to read all those 4 parcels, but in the southwest parcel 1 of the Ocoee Village Center PUD. And the applicant team is here.
What's the square footage of that?
So the gas station and canopy is right under 8,000, and the grocery is right under 50. So they're a total of less than 60.
Okay.
About 60,
All right.
yeah, 56.
All right. Open the public hearing. I have your forms filled out. If you want to talk, you can talk. If you don't want to, you don't have to. So it's up to you. You don't have to, but again, okay. All right, which one are you?
I am not one of the, I'm the applicant, sir. For the record, McGregor Love.
Okay, well, you need to fill the form out.
I will fill a form
Okay.
out.
All right, go ahead.
For the record, McGregor Love, 215 North Eola Drive from Lowndes. I'm the land use attorney here on behalf of the applicant tonight. We also have our engineer of record, CPH, who's here to answer the technical questions, and those may be the type of questions you have. This is a site plan review. I'll tell all of you tonight what I told the planning board, which is there's a reason there's a 2024 on this application. We've been at this for a while with staff, and we're happy with the project as it's put together and the elevations, and we really appreciate the sort of deliberative effort that we went through to make this a good development for your city. Here to answer any questions. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else want to talk out of that group? If not, I'll close the public hearing, bring it back, and give the commissioners any comments.
Just one comment. Everyone has really been looking forward to this project, and we reviewed the package and the P&Z, and wish you success. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody? Nope. All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the large-scale preliminary site plan.
Motion made by Commissioner Kennedy. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Oliver. Any more comments? No more comments, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. All righty. All right, going down here now to item number 17. Number 25-006 for the lease and operation of the Forest Lake Golf Club. Assistant City Manager Rumer.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. This time last year, we were working towards a default process with the operator, Forest Lake Golf Club. A subsequent mediation settlement was reached with them. The city has been operating the golf course since April, May of this year and has received the revenues generated from the operation. This commission authorized an RFP for a long-term operator back in August. You all shortlisted the firms on September 16th and held interviews on October 21st. In consideration of Commissioner Oliver, who was absent at that meeting and was not in attendance, you moved the commission's decision to tonight's meeting. And just one of note, as of the beginning of November, we've made the final payment to the previous operators, and we are the sole owner of the golf course and operations. We've been making steady improvements to the golf course, which have been highlighted in some various updates by the city manager and our consultant, ZHA. And with that, Mayor, I'll turn it over to you.
All righty. All right. I'm going to start. Commissioner Kennedy, comments, suggestions?
I ended up convinced, as you know, I originally wasn't sure that any of the 6 I wanted to go forward with. And I became convinced in the interviews that the commission was right and wise to go forward with those 3. I thought the interviews were informative. I want to go forward with Hampton Golf's proposal, but I also understand some of the comments about possibly finding a way to create a plan B if that's not successful versus go to one of the other RFPs. You know, we had originally talked about we'd pick a preferred of the 3, and if we were unsuccessful with the contract, we may go to another one. I actually liked the comments of if we're not successful with a contract negotiation there, maybe looking at somehow creating a partnership or consortium such that we could continue to employ temporary operators and essentially keep it for ourselves. That's my opinion.
All right, Commissioner Oliver.
Okay. When we first started having these discussions about a temporary, about bringing on another operator and paying out the current operator that's been there for 25 years plus, I was really not on board with paying out the $4.5 million. I just was not on board with that at all, because I just didn't see how we would recoup that money, and it would take us so long to recoup that money back. But after seeing the financials that they've been providing every month, the golf course is actually making money. I can see a light at the end of the tunnel in recouping that money, and that's okay. So now we get to the point, we get to the temporary operator, and we narrowed it down to the 3. I did a financial analysis over several weeks, doing a comparison of the operators. And, so I'll get my notes here. Doing a comparison of the operators, and in that comparison, I was set to go with one operator. Sorry, look at my notes. Oh. Seem to have lost my little notes here. That's okay. Nonetheless, I was prepared to, I provided a memo to the commission in my absence with my recommendations based on my financial analysis and comparisons of the 3 operators. And I was prepared to go with one of the operators, the Tamarack. They were kind of right down the middle of the road for us. We had one operator, Hampton was on the high end as far as the revenue they're going to bring in. And then we had one operator on the lower end and one operator in the middle. They would seem to have more of a conservative approach to bringing in revenue for the city, and I like that. And I was prepared for that. In the past few weeks, I had the opportunity, well, I don't say opportunity. I was out one day with one of my neighbors, and we were picking up trash that was left by the sanitation department. The trash truck came through and left a bunch of trash in the street. So we were out, my neighbor and I, just picking up the trash, and I had the opportunity. We were talking about when we owned our own trash company. Well, actually, when we were doing it ourselves, the city had our in-house sanitation department, and we talked about that and how great that service was. And I got to thinking about that. So in 2018, I remembered I did a few ride-alongs. It was the police department, fire department. I also did a ride-along with the sanitation department. And I was really thoroughly impressed about the level of service that they gave us. I'm sitting there riding all day in this trash truck and talking to the operator of the trash truck and looking at the personal service he gave. There was certain folks along his route that he knew that they were elderly folks. And they would get out the truck, go up the driveway, pick up the trash can, take it to the truck, dump it, and put it back. And we did that for several residents, and I was really impressed by that level of service that we received. And then we decided to move our operation from city-owned and operated sanitation to a third-party vendor. And we've been dealing with some growing pains ever since. And to that point, we were sitting out there picking up trash off the street, and I got to thinking about that. One of the things that we have not discussed is the possibility of the city owning and operating the golf course ourselves and bringing in all the revenue. So I did an analysis. I did another analysis to see what that would look like, just kind of a pros and cons kind of thing. And this is what I came up with. I'm looking at this in an evaluation. If we owned it, we have control. The city will control the full authority in the pricing, the programming, the customer service standards. We control the public benefit-focused operational decisions for our residents, our youth programs, other space preservations. We control the earnings for the golf course within the city, and it can also be reinvested back into the course itself and also to our recreational programs and our green spaces. We also look at the resident affordability. We have control of that as well. On the con side, we also take on all the financial risk as well. We also looked at specialized golf services, operational demands for us, PJ professionals, those kind of things. Capital demands, irrigation, cart and fleets, green equipment, the procurement and staffing constraints, government purchasing rules that we have to deal with. So those are some of the pros and cons that I had to look at. And when we look at bringing in an operator versus running it ourselves internally. But the thing is, we've never really sat down and had the conversation as to what it looks like if we actually owned it. So I think we would be remiss if we never sat down and had the staff go and look at what does these things look like? If we was to bring this in ourselves and say, what would it cost? What would be the benefits to the city? What are the risks that we take on the city? And bring us a full analysis back to make a determination from both sides of the thing. Because right now, we're only talking about a third-party vendor to be the operator of the golf course, never looking at the possibilities of what it would mean if we were to take it on ourselves. So my thoughts and my recommendation is that we would take it upon ourselves to give us some information as to what that looks like if we were to take it on ourselves, and what would be the benefit to us versus the risk.
Commissioner Fershner.
I asked a lot of questions during the interview phase of this process, and I wasn't quite satisfied with any of the answers that any of the three proposers gave. I didn't think that they really met the best interest of what we're looking for up here and what we're looking for the city as a golf course. As Commissioner Oliver just said, we just took over the 40-year lease that was in place out there, and we're making money. We're making good money, and the course is in good shape. It doesn't need a giant revamp. I think it's doable. I go along with Commissioner Oliver's outlook on have staff look at doing this ourselves, in-house. I think we'll have much more control over it. We'll get 100% of the profits, which will go toward the subcontractors that we hire to actually run the course. That's basically where I stand right now. There were a lot of things presented, some things, they all were responsive to the RFP. It's just that the things that were presented didn't fully impress me. They had programs, they had gimmicks, they all had something that they were going to throw into the mix to, make this a world champion golf course. Well, I think our sights are set a little lower than that. We want an outstanding course for our residents, and anybody that comes to town that wants to play, they're more than welcome. But this is a city-owned property, and if we take the responsibility fully for providing a good product, I think we can do that because this city has a fantastic staff. And if we hire the right people to join our staff, I think we can present a golf course that everybody in Ocoee, whether they play or not, would be proud of. Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilson.
Commissioner Oliver, I always like the opportunity to say I told you also when it comes to trash. But when it comes to trash, I like to always bring it back up that I told you so. Okay. Since I'm the only one that voted in the opposition, and to keep it in the city. But I agree with a lot of what I've heard tonight. After the last meeting, I did have a lot of questions. I liked some. I didn't like other parts of it. I do disagree. We do need, I think, some major revamping up there. Yep. So I'm going to, should I say, disagree with that. I personally feel as though I'd like to extend the lease we have right now to give us more time to evaluate whether it's feasible for us to go with the city running it. Again, it's because I like some things, I didn't like others. And we have sat for 25 years with the current lease that we have, and I think that maybe it's time that we spend a little more time reevaluating what our options are. I don't think we've spent time reevaluating whether we ran the golf course. Maybe that might not be the best option, I don't know, but I think by extending the lease, we have an opportunity to go back and evaluate a little more, be a little more in-depth to what we can do to change it. It's a community golf course. We can't forget that our residents, we don't want to exclude our residents from having the opportunity that they've enjoyed all these time. It's our golf course. It's our residents' golf course. And maybe it's time we brought them all in and brought them in to have some opinions. But I don't want to make a rash decision at this point. So that's kind of where I stand.
All right. Well, I'm calling a pickle tonight. I had looked through all those things and read through all of them and went through them. I mean, there's a real pretty looking one, and there's another one that didn't want to do any of that money. And then there's another one like Tamarack, who I thought also would have been the one that I would do. But nothing, I don't want to lose people, to have people that, I look at things that what's best for us at the city. This is not something that we don't fix. We take it, we fix it. And if it wasn't for that, or it wasn't for us looking at this, I had all intentions of putting my vote for Tamarack. Rocky, the gentleman Rocky, played at his course. I've played at Forest Lake. They do a great job. But one of the, since this has come up, and I don't want to make anybody enemies about this thing, but I'm telling you, you can't keep doing this stuff about saying, well, let's decide to try this, and then we'll go drag it out and look at it. If we're going to do it, we got to do it. It ain't no dragging it out. We fix it, buy it, you bond it, and you pay the money back to the city through the way we do it, and we'll make the money that goes right back. This is not a profit-making thing for us. It's a thing for the citizens of the city, that we give them back to the golf course and make it a place you want to go play. Make it a place any other people can come. But we set the rules for 30, and like I said, nothing against anybody, but for 30 years, I went to that office up here asking them to do something. We never got it done. It just kept getting drug out, and drug out. So if you don't have the mindset to sit now and say, hey, we're going to do this, then I don't want to do that. If y'all brought this up and you want to do this, then you can't sit here and hem-har around, excuse my French, or whatever you want to call it. You got to do the action and move forward and do what we're supposed to do. We dragged this out for over a year and a half almost, saying what we're going to do and not do. We can make the money and put it back into our city funds. We get to determine what it would be. We get to determine who's going to do what to it. No, I don't want to give them a long extension because they ain't done everything they were supposed to do. If you go out and check the things, they haven't done the things they're supposed to do. I think our people are smart enough. We come up with the issue and start laying out how to get the bond issue. We pay the bond issue to pay it off. Then we pay our money back to the $4.5 million we took out of the, what's that? My mind's blank. The fund, emergency fund that we got. We put that money back, and we take that money. Like I said, I hate that because I love Tamarack. I love playing golf out there, but it is nothing but what's right for the city, because we never got anywhere when that other group had it. Not saying that the other ones would do that, but you can't just keep saying, let's look at this for another year. You can't do that. You got to make the motion and do it. We go ahead and tell our staff to start meeting and pull you under and tell you exactly what's got to be done out. You got to tear that restaurant down, folks. It's got to come down. It's a dump. You got to go out there and fix the greens. Part of the greens got to be fixed, and the other greens got to be fixed. And then you get the driving range that everybody's talking about. That's where your money comes in. People get to go there with their families, their kids, and then you put a decent person in there. You lease out the restaurant and the bar to somebody like Dubstred or somebody, and then that's how it goes. So I'm not really in favor of putting this thing off and come back to 6 months from now or 3 months from now doing that. And I apologize. Like I said, I'm probably going to make people mad, but I got to sit down thinking about this thing over the weekend, and I don't want to go through that thing again. Not that Tamarack would do that, but it's our property. And everybody said to me, somebody said today, well, you going to sell it? No, we're not selling it. We're not selling it. So I would like to see us, if you're going to do it, do it. Make the motion and do it. And turn it over to staff, meet with all of us, take each commissioner in and tell them what the layout, let them make their suggestions, and we do that, and we start with the process. And I think it can be a treasure in our city for what we got there. I mean, we want our kids to be able to go out there, we want our people to, if they have a golf tournament, to be able to go do it for charity, whatever. So I'm just saying, if you go, I'm not supposed to make the motion anyway because I'm the mayor, but I'd like to see a motion made. If we're going to do this and not give it to somebody, which it looked like it would have been a draw, I say we do the other. You know, so there you go.
Okay, can I ask, what you're referring to is to tonight make the decision to, see, that's what I'm.
Here's the decision. You vote for Ocoee to have the golf course.
But should we allow the city staff to do
Well,
some?
they're gonna have to do that anyway, Rosemary.
Well,
Commissioner.
but then we have to, no, Rosemary.
They have to do that.
But we have to extend the lease.
All we
currently
gotta
to the
do is
person-
extend the lease till January or whenever. They'll have them, they'll start having it.
Mayor, may
Yeah.
I speak? If you wanted to proceed down that path, I would recommend that you direct us to come back after meeting with you individually. As unpopular as this sounds, I would recommend that you extend them 90 days, the existing operator.
January, February.
And that gives us opportunity to bring back options and work with our consultant to evaluate this if you so chose. So if you were going to do that, then you would need to reject the current proposals, direct us to come back, extend
I
it.
say we vote to take, if you're gonna not do them, we ain't gonna put them off anymore. You make the motion, it goes to the city. Then you go ahead and do what you're talking about. You lay out the program of what we gotta do.
That's fine.
You lay out the program, what you gotta do.
I mean, if the rest of the commission is okay with that, again, my concern is just simply, if we decide to go down this path and just vote that we would actually reject these three proposals, bring it in-house to the city, as long as we have enough time to give the staff enough time to be able to come back and give us all the information we need, I'm okay with that.
That's what 90 days is.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
90 days is enough, but yes, we
It's
can always
enough.
go past.
He knows what we got
Do you want to
professionals.
make the motion? Do you want me to hold it?
I'll make a
down?
I
motion.
can't make the
Okay.
motion.
I'll make a motion.
All right.
What? Some,
No.
No.
It's not. No, sir.
I make a motion that the city commission reject all three proposals in their entirety and not issue any in this, under this RFP. Also, I make the motion that we need to extend the current contract with Down to Earth to cover the portion in between until the city can take over themselves. And I direct staff to set up a process to work with the city commission to achieve the citizens and commission's goals. And we can have a little workshop meeting with the staff to give them some direction in the way we want to go. But that's my motion.
All right, do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Firstner, seconded by Commissioner Oliver. All right, any more comments? All right, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right, sorry, people. All right, Craig, can you set it up and get it started? All right. All right, we're going down to comments from commissioners. Before we start that, I want to read off these major announcements. November events. City Hall will be closed on the observance of Thanksgiving on Thursday, November the 27th, and Friday, November the 28th. There will be no trash collections on Thanksgiving Day. It will instead be collected on Friday, November the 28th, and Saturday, November the 29th. December events, an evening with Santa, will take place on Friday, December the 5th, from 6:15 to 8:30 p.m. at the Ocoee Lakeshore Center. This event will feature photos with Santa, arts, crafts, and more. The cost is $15 per person and restoration is required. For more information, visit the city's website. Jolly Jamboree and Holiday Dog Parade and Golf Cart Parade. Everybody seems to keep forgetting to put that on the form. The golf parade, which we had last year, and the police sets up checks the parade issue out, where it goes, what it does. All right, and that will be December the 13th from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. in downtown Ocoee. The free event will feature Santa's Village, a kids zone, special guests, tree lighting, and much more. To register for the dog parade, contact Parks and Leisure Services at 407-905-3180. Holiday toys for kids in need. Restoration is now open through December 3rd for children 6 months to 13 years of age with the Ocoee Police Department. Residents must provide a valid Florida driver's license or state ID, proof of residency, and birth certificate for each child. All right. Commissioner Oliver.
We're gonna get started. So I do have a few items. One, I want to extend a thank you to Commissioner Kennedy for pressing for us to have Veterans Day ceremony on actual Veterans Day. And the reason I'm thanking him for that, because I had the opportunity to participate in the Veterans Day ceremony this Tuesday, November 11th, and it was a wonderful event. It was really, really good. The staff has really stepped up, and we put on an event that we all can be proud of. And the event was so well put together with the stage and the music. It's going to be hard to keep up with that. We got to keep that up, and it's going to be hard to kind of outdo that event. There's two events that I really love in the city. One is Operation Santa, which is Santa's coming to town. So you guys, please look at our website to see what neighborhoods Operation Santa will be coming through your neighborhoods. But two is going to be the Veterans Day ceremony that we have every year, and it is near and dear to my heart. And the city and the staff has really, really stepped up to the plate. And again, thank you, Commissioner Kennedy, for pressing us to have it on the day and the time that we had it. So it was a little cold, but it was a great ceremony.
I'll take the blame.
Take the blame for that. We're also back to standard time. Standard time means we have less daylight. That means that it's going to be dark. We have more darkness. That means that we also have high school kids riding on the streets early in the morning and in the afternoon, coming from baseball and basketball practice. So please be aware that we do have those young drivers out there. So drive for them. Protect our children while they're on our streets during this time where we have less daylight. I received several emails, a couple of phone calls, talking about the extension of the Christmas lights along Clark Road. This is the first time we've ever had Christmas light go all the way down Clark Road and some of the side roads. So they look really, really good. So kudos to city staff for in making that investment. We started talking about that last year, and we're seeing the remnants of that now that we have the Christmas lights. Before long, we're going to have Christmas light all over the city. So this is a great start. So thank you for that. And finally, I will leave you with this. Another new day, one more new hope, one more new step. If you don't leave the past in the past, it will destroy your future. Leave for what today has to offer, not what yesterday took from you. That's all I got.
Commissioner Forster.
No, I don't have any comments.
Commissioner Wilson.
Just happy Thanksgiving. I would hope folks remember that Operation Santa, one of the, should I say, besides Sing Santa, is they are collecting toys for the Children in Need program. So if you're able to, we appreciate you having something available as they drive by. That always helps that program immensely. Also, we've had a very busy November and coming up on December. So, and we will be having 2 meetings, am I correct, in December? Sometimes, okay?
Yes, you're correct.
So, again, happy Thanksgiving.
Commissioner Kennedy.
I do have a couple comments. First, thank Thank you, Commissioner, for your gracious comment, and I agree, and Craig, what you have done with city staff and upped the game on some of these things is amazing. And thank you and your staff for the extra effort that you've done to plan and manage these events. Commissioner Wilson's comments about and Operation Santa and things like that. I received an email from someone asking, it was a pretty good suggestion, could we put something maybe on the city website, I know you're revamping it, that maybe highlighted opportunities to volunteer and/or donate? We read the announcements and there's various Facebook messages here and there, but someone wrote me and said, hey, can you give me a list of things that I could do during the holidays to help people? And I was like, no, but that's a great idea. And maybe we could throw a wrapper on that and say opportunities to volunteer or donate or give, especially during the holidays. I think it'd be nice.
I'd be happy to do that.
I had another agreement with Commissioner Oliver. I came downtown Wednesday or Thursday about 3 o'clock, came down Lakewood to Blueford, and almost got T-boned by a little boy and a little girl flying out of the gas station on a golf cart. And I know we're trying to be golf cart friendly, but I thought when we discussed all that, they had to have a driver's license and know how to drive and obey the laws. Can we tighten that up downtown?
Can I ask you a question? Where was that at?
Northeast corner of the gas station. What is it? Is a Citgo or a Kangaroo or a Marathon?
The one, Blueford and Silver Star?
You talking about
Yeah.
the four-way, or Silver Star?
Four-way stop. Coming out
Oh.
onto Lakewood, out of that side exit, and came all the way across. I was coming south to come to the City Hall.
Big statues are what they're supposed to have.
Yeah, and that's not cool. They just come flying out of nowhere, and I almost ran them over.
Yeah.
I don't know what enforcement, I mean, I know that's hard to do, but.
It's either you observe it in action and see it, or you get a complaint and then you keep an eye on it. And it's all for the safety of minors. We've had a lot of issues with minors driving golf carts and parents allowing them to do so. And we try to do the best we can. The police department's done a great job of trying to reach out to parents and help provide advice for corrective action. But it is citable under our ordinance, and we tried to take an educational approach. First, we can absolutely try to increase presence. Several of you commented to me about speeding on Kissimmee Avenue, and I know the police has been trying to beef up patrol in that area, and people are still speeding through downtown, and we will absolutely address that. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I think it is related, school starting back up and getting out at 3 o'clock, whatever time it was. So maybe just during that time.
I got a
do some
suggestion
more
about
enforcement.
that.
That's all I have. Thank you.
But while you're talking about the school, why in the world can we not talk to the school? They unload all the cars, stop in the middle of the highway on Blueford and let the kids out. They all congregate. The school don't open until a certain time, but there's no reason why they cannot go down to the corner of Lafayette and the entrance into the school parking lot. Let them stand there. Instead, they're all over the road in the mornings and in the afternoons. So if they have to be told at the county, tell them to get them off the roads. Because all of them drop off from the parents, and then they get out there and go across back. One's going this cross, one's going that way. They're going down to the donut shop. Well, if they want to go to the donut shop, go down Lakewood, go up to the red light and go across to it. But now they're coming all the way back and forth up at that corner, and nothing against the police, but they're not stopping them because the cars are trying to turn down Lafayette, the other cars are trying to go. So the citizens are getting affected by it too, and we want our kids to be safe. They're not safe there. There's 200 or 300 of them sitting out there on the corner, and they're playing, throwing stuff at each other and everything else. but they have all that area on the end of Lafayette that goes into the school that they could sit there until they unlock that gate. And they don't unlock that gate till 9 o'clock. So I think we need to emphasize to the county, they gotta move them down that block to the right place.
Mayor, if I can, on that specific topic, Chief Auburn's met with his counterpart at the Orange County Public Schools twice about this issue, and we are trying to get them to make some changes prior to next school year relating to that.
You got a half a year left.
Well, correct. We are actually making an effort to try to get them to make some operational changes as best we can. I can have him update you all
They just
next
gotta walk
week.
200
I mean,
feet down
next
that
meeting.
sidewalk.
Agreed. Well, I agree with you. Chief Ogburn agrees with you. We have to get the school board on board, and I'm trying to not throw other public agencies under the bus as often as I have in the past, including the school board. But we are making an effort right now, and I think it would be a good dialogue with the commission if we had Chief Ogburn give you an update on that at the next meeting. He's scheduled to also update you on code enforcement at the next meeting. So
I've heard that for a month or two.
Well, yes. I'm committing publicly here and now that the next meeting you'll get an update on code enforcement.
And the county has security people, they've hired their own police force or whatever they're, why do they not have one at that school that can go out there and direct those children? They don't. They don't bring them out.
That's a question. What time they open the gates to the
9
school?
o'clock.
And the kids are getting there about
They're in there from
7:30, 8
7:30
o'clock?
on.
Is there any way to open the gates up a little earlier
Nope.
and let them hang out
No,
on
you never
campus
see 'em
with the resource officer there?
But they're all, I mean, the donut shop's gonna hate it, but that's, but I would say if they go into the donut still, they can walk up Lakeview 2 blocks and go to it, not be out on the main highway where all the cars, I'm telling you, the traffic is bumped. And this afternoon, if you go in the afternoons from Ohio Street, from Delaware Street all the way to Silver Star, it's bumper to bumper. Getting out. You can't get out.
I try to stay away from those places.
I know, but people live there can't. So, but that's, I mean, we just need to address it to them.
We are addressing it today.
Okay.
Yes.
The other thing is, we had our music fest this weekend. What I mainly want to do is thank staff. Everybody thanks sometimes, don't say too much about, but that staff worked all three or 4 days, because they had a couple of days before. They did an exceptional job lining everything out, getting everything done, setting it up. First year, I didn't have to help set it up, and that was amazing. And they did everything. It was great. And I mean, they worked, never complained about it being, not picking everything up. Everybody was super, and it was enjoyed by a lot. We had a lot of families this year that came out to it, and it was really great. So it was, I want to tell the city manager to make sure we let them know that we appreciate, the police was in full force there. We had, I guess even the SWAT team was there in case somebody wanted to do crazy stuff that they do nowadays. But it was more of a family orientation outside where all those rides and all the other things were at. So I want to thank you very much.
Thank you.
Staff for supporting that, and commissioners for supporting it.
That was all the departments.
Yeah.
They all get a big kudos.
Yes.
And they work really well together.
So what's our next meeting?
December 2nd.
2nd of December. I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving and don't eat too much turkey. Meeting over.